Hello, everybody. My name is D.Lisa West, and I'm a dream doula.
And I'm Christina Spataro. I'm a psychotherapist and relationship coach.
And we decided today we're going to talk about things that have never been done before.
Hmm.
You might think in the whole history of this world we live on that it's been done before, but people are constantly creating new things and doing new things. And what was it you were just hearing about today?
I was just hearing about that India is has a rocket that's going to land later today on a side of the moon that we actually haven't landed on before. And people, when they've tried, people have crashed. Like Russia famously has just crashed because there's this part of the moon. They're not sure if it has ice or what's going on over there, but apparently no one has successfully landed on this side of the moon. And India's rocket is aiming to land there later today.
Wow. And so today is, what day is it? The 22nd of August. So if you're listening to this later, 22nd of August, 2023. I hope they land safely because that'd be so interesting.
Exactly.
Now, I remember when I was a kid and we were at the beach. This will just tell people how old I am. We were at the beach and it was the moon landing. And so everybody's like running around, going up and down this big sand hill, sliding down. The kids don't care. And Dad's like, be quiet. I'm listening to the radio. And so he had to turn the radio on in the car and listen to the moon landing because it was a big deal in 1965, 6, 7, whatever year that was.
I thought it was 1969.
Okay, 69. Let's call it that. Um, and I do remember this because a lot of inspirational speakers talk about this. At the time, we had a president named Kennedy,
Mm-hmm.
and he said to the smartest scientists in our country, what would it take to land a man on the moon in like X amount of years. And the ones that didn't say it's impossible answered with this phrase, the willingness to do so.
I like that. The
So, what
willingness.
would it take? The willingness to do so. And that's what it takes to do anything that seems impossible or never been done before.
I think of our clients, right? Because how
Yeah.
many do our clients come to us and they want change in their life? They want to maybe change that career or end the bad relationship or find a good new one or whatever it is they want to do. And even though they're coming to us for that help, they are worried they can't do it because they haven't done it before.
Yeah.
Or,
And they haven't done it because they didn't believe it was possible.
yes, they didn't believe it was possible. Or maybe they've tried and it wasn't successful because before the US landed on the moon in 69, we had we had failures. And on top of that, right now, as India is trying to land on this part of the moon that nobody successfully landed on, that so far Russia's tried and they've crashed, and nobody else has successfully landed on this particular part of the moon. Like they thinking it might be ice or whatever. There have been crashes and they haven't had successful landing. So a lot of times when we've either had lack of success in our own lives, when we've tried something and it hasn't worked out, okay, why am I going to try again? I'm just going to fail again. But you know what? You don't know when you're going to succeed. Maybe, okay, maybe that job didn't work out, or maybe that relationship didn't work out. But that doesn't mean the next one won't, or the one after that, because you don't know, because that's the thing. We could say, oh, well, if this happened, because the past is a horrible predictor of the future. Because every time we do something, we are in a new moment in time where
Yes.
anything is possible. Anything's possible.
Yes. Yes, so it's possible that India will land on a never landed on part of the moon today.
Yes.
And it's also possible that whatever your heart's desire is, There's something you can actually do, but you have to believe it. I think
Yeah.
there's a quote from Henry Ford. If you believe you will succeed or if you believe you will fail, you're right.
Yes.
Either way, you're right because what you believe is what you get, pretty
Yes.
much. I mean, sometimes people get fantastic things that they don't believe at the moment, but there's some part of them that did believe that could happen.
Exactly. Because no matter what, if you have this belief that this isn't going to happen for me, no matter what comes your way, you're going to degrade it in some way because you're not believing you're worthy of it, maybe, or you don't think it's possible. What we feel about ourselves, how we perceive circumstances, it's very, very powerful. Like to believe anything's possible. Of course, I have to do a movie thing. And in
Movie.
and in honor of this potential landing, I'm going to do the movie Apollo 13, which was about a mission that actually went awry. That famous line, Houston, we're in trouble. This is it. This is from that movie where basically they had a situation now where these guys were going to die because they were losing the oxygen. They had to separate out the cabin from the main part of the shuttle. But the problem was the way this thing was designed, it was designed, I guess, with separate parts from different manufacturers. So they couldn't use the backup oxygen to give themselves oxygen in the little cockpit they were in because it didn't match the other piece. So there's a scene in the movie, and I know I am messing up the story and the science. Forgive me, then you got to see Apollo 13. There's a scene in the movie where they're back at NASA, so they're communicating with NASA, and they're like, these guys are going to lose their ability to breathe and function very quickly. And he said, okay, we've got to figure out a way to make these two pieces that don't normally fit together. And guess what? They did it. They found a way.
That makes me think of all the different plugs we have for our electronics these days. Um, I think people in Europe have it better because they outlawed different kinds of plugs. Everyone has to have the same kind of plug for all your electronics now. But I've got USB-C plugs, USB plugs. I've got iPhone plugs. I've got Android plugs. I've got different kinds of plugs that go into the wall, different kind of plugs that don't go into my computers. I'm like, what if it was life or death? And all I had was this one plug that doesn't plug into that thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. But if you're a person, like one of our clients maybe, and you want to do something you've never ever done before,
Hmm.
how do we help them?
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
you can't just say, change the way you think, and people suddenly change the way they think. They have to come to some realization that up until now, the way they've been thinking has been working in a particular way, and that if they change it now and into the future, will be different.
it's about just like they had to adapt this special plug. How do you adapt and plug into where you want to be?
Oh,
So maybe
yeah.
if you want to live someplace different, what do you have to do to get there? Because what we do help our clients do, you and I, our main job is to help clients set goals for what they want. Now it has to come from them, but the point is we help them outline step by step how they're going to get there. So it's about adjusting that plug. So yes, but first is the mindset of I have the ability within me to figure out how to adapt this. And then use what you have and what can you acquire to adapt.
Yeah, that's beautiful because the human mind wants to do this. Okay, I'm sitting here, I'm working for the government. I want to be a entrepreneur. Well, I don't know how to do that. And so people stop themselves from dreaming big because they think they need to know every step to get there.
Yes.
And there's a couple of analogies that I've heard in the recent couple of years. And one is if you're driving down a dark road, your headlight doesn't shine all the way to your destination. It shines a little bit forward in the road, but not around the corner. So you have to you just assume that if as you keep driving, the rest of the road will be revealed. And
Mhm.
life is like that too. I mean, as you keep moving forward in life or taking one step at a time, the next step is revealed.
Right.
It's it's suddenly a great idea or obvious to you what the next thing is. Or maybe even help comes along that you didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
People introduce you to someone who's the perfect person. It's so interesting, isn't it? How, and on another kind of woo woo level, I saw recently where someone says every one of us comes into life with an angel, a guardian angel, but the
Mm-hmm.
guardian angel cannot interfere. So we think we're alone here in the world, but we're not
Mm-hmm.
alone. We have help from the other side, but we have
Yeah.
to ask for the help. So
Yes.
this person explaining that theory was saying you need to just talk to your guardian angels all the time. They're happy, they're delighted. That's their job is to keep you safe
Mm.
and watch over you and help you, but they can't interfere. So if you want their help, you need to say what want help with. So sometimes I go to sleep and I think, oh, angels, guides, relatives on the other side, help me, help me, help me. Bring me a dream because I love to listen to my dreams. Bring me a dream and tell me what I should do next. And then I wake up and think, um, wow, what does that mean? Slow dancing? Because, of course, dreams come to you in a different language. So may, perhaps I'll start talking to my guides and angels just during the day and see how that works better. Maybe
I
I'll
like.
just get a serendipitous meeting with somebody that I already know. And that'll be more obvious to me than what does it mean, slow dancing? Hmm,
Mm.
fun dream, but
Slow. You could play with that. So slow
oh,
dancing.
I
So
had
what?
a dream. I had a dream where I was just really troubled and I was like, what should I do next? Tell me. And it was, what should I do next in my business life? And I
Mm-hmm.
dreamt that my parents, who were both passed over, were in the other room dancing to a slow song. And they
Mm.
used to love to dance. They had parties in our basement
Yeah.
and where we had a jukebox, and their friends would come over and they'd sprinkle, what was it, cornmeal on the floor so you could dance better, slide around back in the
Mm.
60s. And they loved to dance. They loved to do the slow dance, and all their friends, could do all the moves of the day. And so seeing them in dreamland dancing was like, oh, I saw my parents. They didn't say anything to me. We didn't have an interaction, but I saw them having a lovely time slow dancing in the next room over. And then I thought, oh, okay, that just means to relax and see what's happening next instead of, "Ooh." That was the
Yes.
message I got of it.
I like that. Relax. See what's happening next. Also, follow your own tune.
Oh, I love that. Follow your own tune.
Yes. So
Yes,
what?
because if you're trying to do anything in the world, you can just go totally down the rabbit hole of you should do it this way. No, do it this way. No, do it this way. No, do it this other way. You need to y- for any business you're in, for any group you're in, there are so many millions and millions of ways to do it. There's no one perfect way.
Exactly. And in
Yeah.
this where it's with the social media and everything so much about comparison, it's easy for us to get caught up in that and be
Yeah.
like, but I'm not doing it like this person or that person because you're not them. You're
hmm
you. And you
Well, one
need
of
to,
the biggest issues I think some people have when they're really being hard on themselves is that they're comparing themselves to others and
yes,
they're feeling envious and jealous
yes,
instead of what I say is you see someone else doing something you would love to do, feel really happy for them.
Hmm.
Like, I'm so happy for you. Good for you. Awesome. For a while, it might seem fake when you
Hmm.
say that or try to feel it. But after a while, you are happy for them because if they can do it, you can do it.
Can do it.
And they're
Absolutely.
showing you the way.
Absolutely.
Yes. So if someone is in your practice and they're trying to do a really big goal or dream,
Mhm.
how do you have them source or imagine what their next step would be? Do you have a process?
So my process is first we look at where is it you want to go,
Hmm.
and then I break it down. Like, okay, so tell me some steps we would need to get you there. Like, for instance, if somebody tells me they want to do a career change, I'm like, okay. So, because remember, the answers are within you. I am merely a guide to help you find the answers within yourself because you have them. My role is to help you eliminate the limiting beliefs and all the other coats that have been thrown on you by other people and experiences so you can get back to the essence of who you really are. So you can actually listen to what God, universe, whatever you believe, is trying to tell you.
Right. Right. That's beautiful. Yeah, one of the fun exercises I have my people do is if they just have no idea what they should do next, to get a blank piece of paper and
Mhm.
to just say to their higher self, their God or whatever, what should I do next? And
Yes.
then whatever ideas pop into their head, they write them down, even if it's ridiculous, even if it's
Yes.
an idea that they know won't work. You write it down till you're pretty much empty of ideas. And then you look at the list, and a few of them will kind of light up off the list. They'll look like, oh, and then you can circle three of those and put them in your calendar.
Yes.
And that way, you had the idea, you're doing the idea. And when you get stuck again, you can do that over again. It's
Exactly.
called sourcing. It's a beautiful thing to do in a mastermind group too, and have other people do it for you.
Hmm.
You tell them what you're struggling with, and then each person y'all go quiet for 2 minutes and write down ideas. And sometimes people have like the most brilliant ideas.
It's true. Because
Yeah.
it's clearing the mind. I mean, the whole idea of mindfulness and all of that is to clear all that mind clutter, to get off the hamster wheel so you can actually just take a breath. Because again, it's in you. Now, I don't mean to sound all woo woo and I'm not diminishing people who've been through trauma and pain. It is very real. So a huge part of what I do is help people heal from the trauma to believe they can move forward so that then they can listen to that voice inside them that has been silenced for way too long.
Yes. Yes. Yes, because probably as little kids, we were very much in tune with that little voice inside of us, and it got kind of pushed out of us, spanked out of us, yelled out of us, whatever. Teachers are
Yes,
like, You don't know that. You can't say that." Oh,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, how to do something new like landing on the moon, the willingness to do so,
The willingness to
and
do
the belief that it can happen.
that.
And if you don't believe it can happen, dear listener, find a partner in believing who believes it can happen for you.
Yes. And who could encourage you to take the steps. Because keep in mind, concrete steps, smart goals are the next step because you can have the belief 100%, but now you have to create the actionable steps towards it.
Right, as my one of my mentors says this, inspiration without action is merely entertainment.
I like that. I like to say, what is it like? A goal without actual steps that you can do is nothing but a lovely dream. It's lovely, but it won't
Mm.
leave the dream place.
Oh, and one of my fellow coaches posted something yesterday. She was walking her dog in a graveyard, a
Oh my.
cemetery. And she was just thinking about the work we do, you and I both, and how many people have died with dreams not realized.
Wow.
And I think that's the greatest despair that people have on their deathbeds. If they don't say, I wish I would have worked more. I wish I would have sold that company for a few more million. They say, I wish I would have really, enjoyed my life more or loved
Mm,
my family more deeply or eaten more ice cream or whatever it is that they didn't allow themselves to do while they were living, but they longed to do it. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you have a deep longing, I encourage you to go for it. Just take one step toward whatever that thing is that you would love to do or be or have or give.
mhm, mhm.
One step at a time will take you up a mountain.
I like that.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.